It all happens here. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
KVNU News Time is 5:03. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Logan Extermination. A Logan man was found dead this morning following a reported medical incident, according to police. The 36-year-old man allegedly died of a self-inflicted knife wound inside an upstairs bedroom of the residence at 774 North, 200 East. Logan City Police Lieutenant Barry Parslow said officers went to the home after the man's wife called 911. There were reports of a knife being involved and the male individual being injured.
We got to an upstairs bedroom, and we asked the female to exit the home so that we could have her safe. The officers had her with them and attempted contact with their 6-year-old male, receiving no response.
Logan's Special Weapons and Tactics team was dispatched to the home. Officers also blocked 200 East between 700 and 800 North and briefly placed Mount Logan Middle School on lockdown. Parslow said police remained outside attempting to contact the man inside the upstairs bedroom.
Officers were able to deploy drones into the home. A drone into the home was able to enter the room and identify that the male was injured and not moving. Officers then entered the house and were able to verify this, medical in and after, just to verify status, found the male deceased.
You may not have been able to decipher that, but the officer said that paramedics were then cleared to enter and determined the man was deceased. The man's identity is not being released pending notification of family. KVNU News Time is 5:05. KVNU weather, partly cloudy tonight, and then it's supposed to clear off and might see the northern lights as far south as northern Utah. Later on tonight, early Saturday morning, low around 40. Sunny tomorrow, high temperature in the low 70s, and then sunny mid-70s on Sunday. This afternoon, it's been pretty nice. It's been all the way to 71. Right now, we have 67 degrees at KVNU. Insuring your business can be frustrating. Matt Robbins at Quality First Insurance can help, and he will call you back. For more information, go to q1ins.com.
If you have a nasty weed problem, we have the right person for you. Sir, you work for Logan Extermination, don't you? Can you help these folks get rid of pesky dandelions?
Of course I can help. I am the Terminator. I will terminate those little yellow devils in your yard. Call me at Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
May special. Terminate your weeds and green up your lawn for only $45, based on maximum 5,000 square feet.
And KVNU News Time 5:06. More on Aurora Borealis. An area of far northern Utah is included in the viewing line for a strong geomagnetic storm tonight, meaning some in the state may catch a glimpse of the northern lights. Those away from city lights, possibly in the Bear Lake area, may be able to see the phenomenon when looking north and low on the horizon. The best time for viewing an Aurora Borealis is around midnight. Forecast calls for partly cloudy to mostly clear skies in northern Utah. The northernmost top of Utah is included in the main line of viewing for tonight's aurora forecast from the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center. Many in the state were able to view the colorful spectacle nearly 1 year ago on April 23rd, 2023. And a 19-year-old Providence man has been arrested for allegedly downloading child pornography. Samuel James Dayton was temporarily booked Wednesday into the Cache County Jail. According to court documents, Dayton is being charged with 9 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony. The offenses allegedly occurred around December 26th last year. Dayton is scheduled to be arraigned in Logan's 1st District Court on June 24th. Each charge carries a maximum prison sentence of 15 years and a $10,000 fine. The charges were filed by the Cache County Attorney's Office following an investigation by the Cache County Sheriff's Office. According to jail records. Dayton was booked and later released from jail pending his upcoming appearance before a judge next month. KVNU News Time is 5:08. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Treat your mom with nothing but the best this Mother's Day. The Elements Restaurant is serving a delicious brunch buffet complete with slow-roasted prime rib and pork loin carvings, seafood, chicken, and more. Don't forget made-to-order omelets, hot pancakes with maple or coconut syrup, sausage, bacon, crepes, and more delicious dishes, including a full dessert bar. Because she's special, treat Mom to something extraordinary. Mother's Day brunch from Elements, Sunday, May 12th from 11 to 2. For reservations, call 750-5151. 750-5151. Buffet will be located inside the Riverwoods Conference Center.
Mother's Day is here, and there's no better place to buy a gift that Mom will love than Cox Honeyland in South Logan. They have a huge assortment of gift baskets filled with some amazing goodies. If your special person loves to decorate outdoors, Cox Honeyland has outdoor spinners and garden decor on sale. Plus, don't forget to grab Mom some of their famous fudge or popcorn. That's Cox Honeyland and Gifts, 1780 South, Highway 89, Logan.
Happy Mother's Day from Messy Needham Jewelers. To help you celebrate the special mother in your life, we're offering dinner for two with a purchase of $149 or more. Recall tender family moments with an elegant Yadro figurine, or remind her of your love with a quality music box she'll treasure forever. Choose a kitchen or home decoration you simply won't find anywhere else. Essie Needham's gift department is the place to go for the people and occasions that matter most. Essie Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
The advocates care about your cycling accident and have attorneys who are fellow riders. They understand the risks you face when you ride, and they want to see you get back on your bike and out on the road. If you were hit while enjoying a leisurely ride or training for the next big cycling race, the advocates' injury attorneys can help. We are available 24/7, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. Chat anytime at utahadvocates.com or call 801-355-5550 today. Cyclists deserve an advocate.
Have you ever wondered about having your air ducts cleaned? There are a lot of scammers and fake companies on social media trying to rip you off. The Duct Hunter, a Logan area company, would love to answer your questions and provide a free quote for air duct cleaning. Call the Duct Hunter at 435-770-4813.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Are you in need of excellent surgical care? Budge Clinic General Surgery offers the future of surgery with state-of-the-art robotic-assisted procedures. From cancer treatments to surgical needs, they've got you covered. Call Budge Clinic General Surgery today, 435-716-1950, to schedule a consultation and experience the best possible outcome. Trust Doctors Anderson, Marshall, McKenna, and Peterson, the experts at Budge Clinic General Surgery, helping people live the healthiest lives possible.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show getting underway. Andy is on his way, and as I mentioned in hour one, construction here in front of the station is a bit intense right now, and then the traffic as well, the usual Friday traffic adding to that. So, Andy, if you're out there listening, I hope you're not just stuck in front of the station for the time being, and make a right turn in. New in theaters today, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We joked about this last week, but I threw a challenge at Andy. He's going to be talking about this latest installment in the new Planet of the Apes franchise, which started 10, 15 years ago, this latest iteration. I challenged Andy to make me excited about this. I don't know what it is about the Planet of the Apes world. This is considered a sci-fi fantasy classic. I've seen all the old, well, not all. I've seen 3 of the old ones. I think there's like 8. But I've seen 3 of the old ones. I've seen all of the new ones in this latest series of reboot movies over the last 15 years or so. I don't hate them. I've never watched one and thought, well, that was awful. But I find myself at the end of every movie not being able to care less about this story, this plot, these characters. I don't know what it is. It's been suggested to me that I am too much of a realist, which seems ironic when you're talking about sci-fi fantasy, right? But it has been suggested to me that I can't handle the talking apes, that's what kind of sends it off for me. But when I was a kid, I thought reruns of Mr. Ed were hilarious, and that's a talking horse. But I was a kid. I don't know. I just can't get excited about these. The film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, though, is getting some big thumbs up from audiences and a lot of critics. And, of course, we'll have Andy's review here in a minute. It is playing both Megaplex theaters here in Logan. It is rated PG-13. It's pretty long. Combining the 15-20 minutes of advertising before each movie at Megaplex these days, you're looking at a full 3-hour movie, 3 hours and 5 minutes, actually, with those that 20 minutes of commercials and trailers before the movie. From start time to walking out of the theater, you're looking at 3 hours and 5 minutes total. The film itself, 2 hours and 45 minutes long. It stars William H. Macy, Peter Macon, Freya Allen, and is directed by Wes Ball. We'll talk more about him when Andy's here. But for those who maybe recognize the name, he's young, very young, and he is to date been most well known for directing the Maze Runner trilogy. The Scorch Trials, or Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials, Maze Runner, Death Cure. These are based on a very popular young adult dystopian sci-fi book series, and have been they've made money as films. I've seen one at least. I wouldn't call them cinema history or anything like that, but they made a lot of money. And I've never really paid attention to the directing, but it seemed like it was all right. Anyway, so that's where Wes Ball comes from, but we'll talk more about that. Again, a very young director for a very established money-making franchise like Planet of the Apes. The plot in general, this is following the kind of the plots of the original movies, how it escalated each movie from Planet of the Apes to Rise of the Planet of the Apes to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and all of that stuff. This is years beyond the last entry in this film franchise, years beyond. And at this point, the apes have won. They are the dominant species, living pretty harmoniously with humans, but that's because they have subjugated humans. And but, things are going kind of okay. And then an ape decides he's going to be all about empire and conquest, rallies hundreds of thousands of other apes, I assume, to his cause, and decides that they are going to put the humans down a peg or two and take over the planet. And the story is of how one young human and one young ape embark in a harrowing journey that causes them to question all that they know about the past and make choices to define the future for apes and humans alike. So, again, rated PG-13, runtime about 2 hours and 45 minutes. It premiered with a couple of screenings last night here in Logan. I haven't talked to anybody who's seen it yet, but again, we'll be talking to Andy in just a bit, who did have a chance to see it. I did have a chance to see The Fall Guy, though. Andy recommended this last week. I'm just going to echo his recommendation. As movies made off of old TV shows go, this is easily one of the best. It's extremely funny. It has a great plot. In these types of movies, there comes a point where you sort of feel like the third act, they ran out of all ideas and jokes, and they just started to kind of phone it in, like, okay, we've got to wrap this up. How do action movies end? All right, we'll end it like this. This movie doesn't do that, and that really stood out to me. They put as much effort into this is one of my perpetual critiques of these types of movies, the comedy action movies. They always have a bad third act. They always have a phoned in, extremely predictable ending that anyone could have written. They're great until that third act. The first two acts, hilarious, exciting, lots of things get blown up, a cool plot, characters you get invested in, and then, like I say, it's like at a certain point the writer and director get together and say, okay, we have to end this somehow. How should we end it? And someone says, well, here's how most action movies end, and they say, okay, we'll do that. They don't do that in this one. It's not a perfect movie. It's not one you'd go out and see a million times. I'd definitely see it again. It is extremely funny, and the overall plot itself stays true to that original Fall Guy television show plotline from the early 80s, which I don't know if you can still watch that anywhere in syndication on broadcast network TV or on streaming. It is available for purchase on Amazon if you're that interested. I don't remember a lot of it other than I know that it involved a Hollywood stuntman who ends up solving crimes. How they get there in this movie is also funny in and of itself. And then I would also say some of the coolest fight scene choreography I've seen in a movie in quite some time. So yeah, highly recommend The Fall Guy, still in theaters. It opened last weekend here in Logan, but is still there. What else you can see? Star Wars The Phantom Menace 25th Anniversary is still playing here in Logan. You can also see Tarot. This is a horror movie based on a I can't remember if the tarot deck is haunted or if the kids playing with the tarot deck do something wrong and then it comes. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know what you're getting into with a movie like this. You can still see Civil War playing. Andy also recommended that one. That is rated R and also has a long run time, but it is playing at least for the next week here in Cache Valley. Also still playing, at least for the next week, Escape from Germany by director T.C. Christensen. Many people in Utah are going to recognize that name. If you don't, we'll put it this way. His name has been on a lot of very popular films here in Utah. This is a film that is a retelling of a true story. It's titled Escape from Germany, story of how LDS missionaries escaped from Germany in the earliest years of the war. Before things really got to where no one could leave, there was a time when there's kind of a gray area. But they were able to escape, even though the odds were against them. It's a true story. I've linked to that on our Facebook page if you want to read that story. You'll have to scroll back a couple of weeks, but it's there. And finally, Dune Part 2, still playing in theaters here in Logan as well. If you didn't see Part 1, I wouldn't recommend seeing Part 2. Although, I mean, it's not required that you see the first one. The story's not going to make very much sense to you if you don't see the first one. And the first one is available on pretty much every streaming service out there. If you saw the first one and have yet to see the second, you are missing out. This is a great ending. And finally, playing here in Logan, also rated R, a film called Challengers. This is a story about a former tennis prodigy turned coach and a force of nature who makes no apologies for her game on and off the court. Married to a champion on a losing streak, her strategy for her husband's redemption takes a surprising turn when he must face off against the washed-up Patrick, his former best friend, and his wife's former boyfriend. Past and present collide, tensions run high, and Tasha must ask herself, what will it cost to win? This is rated R, from what I've read about it. This isn't one to take the kids to, or even the teens. But it is getting, again, big group thumbs up from audiences and critics alike. So that is also playing here in Logan. Before Andy gets here, I wanted to run through this as well, because we mentioned this last week. We're headed straight into summer movie season. And that means that the pace of new movies is going to pick up. And that is, to say the least, the case. We have coming up the Garfield movie. Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Pratt voicing some of the characters in that. That opens Memorial Day weekend. Previous to that, If, which is also kind of an animated movie kind of thing. It's live action and animated together, but some really big names in this. This opens May 17th before Memorial Day. Bradley Cooper, Matt Damon, George Clooney, Steve Carell, all of these folks, John Krasinski, Kaylee Fleming, Louis Gossett Jr., all kinds of big names in this one, and it's basically the story of a girl who discovers that she can see everyone else's imaginary friend. She doesn't have one, but she can see everyone else's, and she decides to embark on an adventure to reconnect forgotten imaginary friends, ifs, with their lost humans. These are imaginary friends who have been forgotten by their humans. Also, everyone looking forward to this, May 24th, Furiosa, the latest Mad Max installment from writer, director, and creator of the Mad Max franchise, George Miller. This stars Chris Hemsworth and Anna Taylor-Joy. And then Despicable Me 4. Oh, wait, that's clear out in July. The Strangers, Chapter 1. If you saw the original, I'm assuming this is about the same thing, except I don't know why they're calling it Chapter 1 when it's the second movie. That hits theaters May 17th as well. And one that I know everyone's kind of excited about and apprehensive about, coming June 7th, another Bad Boys installment, Miami's Finest, and now it's Most Wanted, Bad Boys Ride or Die, with the original team, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, teaming up again in this latest installment. The plot, not a lot is known about this, the actual plot of this, other than, of course, they are now wanted felons. And I don't know. If you're a fan of that first one, I am. It's probably going to be very similar. A lot of the same crew involved, from writing and directing to, of course, the cast of Smith and Lawrence as well. So, fun stuff. That is the lineup for films this weekend and weekends going forward. But stick around. Andy Morgan will be with us. We're going to talk about, we'll talk a little bit Fall Guy again probably, but we're going to talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is in theaters today, and last week I challenged Andy to get me excited about this movie after he saw it. We'll see if he can do it. And if you're a fan of the movies, I'm sorry. I know that I'm kind of an outlier. I'm the minority on this, but I just cannot get excited about these movies. The Planet of the Apes franchise, it doesn't click with me somehow. But maybe that'll change. Stick around. We'll be back with more of the For the People movie show, and Andy Morgan joining us right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic now have an office located inside the Miller Medical Building in Tremonton. Every Friday, Northern Utah's premier ear, nose, and throat medical physicians and staff will provide Box Elder County a better option to be seen. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic are now located in Tremonton. Save time, schedule your appointment today. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello, Cook. Sergeant Cook, I'm calling because we've got free lunch for you to Firehouse Subs, just because I heard you're a pretty good guy.
Wow, thank you.
Somebody nominated you this past week for our Above and Beyond Salute. They noted how you were born and raised in Logan and that you're committed to serving this community. And so to tell you thanks for all you do, we've got $40 to Firehouse Subs for you. How's that?
Well, that's great. I appreciate it, Will.
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU.
Did I express myself? Did I let my light shine through? Check. Will an attractive woman cry at my funeral? Check. Probably more than one. Check, 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 check. Lastly, did I achieve success and own real estate?
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show with Andy Morgan here in the studio. Andy just brought me What is this?
It's the new movie show sponsor.
Kidding. Is this honestly 110K on the Scoville heat scale?
Yeah, and that's actually one of the lower ones. The biggest one they have is 850, and it's called I Can't Feel My Face.
This is have you seen the YouTube series? This guy interviews comedians and actors.
Hot Ones.
Yeah, Hot Ones. And they just keep escalating.
It's the
hot
best.
sauce.
If I was
at one point, TJ Miller is vomiting, and he continues with the interview.
Have you seen the Conan O'Brien one?
Yeah.
If I was teaching a journalism class,
Conan has an iron stomach. He doesn't even flinch as they get up to that upper end of the scale.
If I was teaching a journalism class on, how to ask questions, I would be like, watch Sean Evans on Hot Ones. Not only is it research, but it's not like. The example I always give. Remember when I went to Sundance and Carol. Actually, can't. I won't. We'll change the names for innocence. Becky was there from one of the local stations, and she was like, "So, how did you like making this movie?" And I was like, "Wow, hit him with the zinger right from the start."
An insightful line of questioning begins.
And I said, "This is the first time you've played a lesbian on a movie. Well, can you talk about that and how that, or whatever?" I can't remember. And then they opened up this whole other dialogue about how these women thought they were. Anyway, this is a long story that I'll tell another time. But the point of the thing is ask a question that means something. Like these.
Yeah. That's one of my least favorite things about
junkets
Sundance.
are the worst.
Sundance they always have a Q&A, and everyone, like, you can I've learned to spot them by looks, or by coat. The coat they're wearing, how much fake fur is on that coat is a good indicator. But it's an attempt to get themselves in the spotlight, and sometimes I want to interrupt and say, "Did you have a question?"
They're
in this Q&A.
Yeah, they're just. Did you have a Q in this Q&A?
This has arbol peppers in it.
Yeah,
those are rare and really hot. Also habanero, jalapeno, and ghost peppers. For those interested, I've just got a sample pack here, but the Flatiron Pepper Company out of Colorado, and Andy has brought me Flatiron Pepper Company's hot pepper mix.
Four pepper blend.
You'll never go back to generic red pepper flakes, but that might be because you're dead with these 4 peppers.
It's actually possible. It's possible, but no. I would. Speaking of that,
I was going to say we have to go to the news. What do you?
I'll tell you what I saw.
Do you have a teaser at least for whether we're
going to be talking about some
excited about apes.
Blank? I can't, Jason. I can't. I can't.
I wanted to see you at least try.
I can't. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. The whole time I was watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the whole time I just kept thinking of Corky in Nope. I was like, dude, they should have a real scene in this where one of those chimps comes over and just eats someone's face off.
That was such a weird scene, but perfect in Nope.
But you know what I'm saying? This is not real. These and also, why does no one wear underwear in these? You know what I mean?
That's part of it too.
And why are they all British?
They're they've adopted hats.
Was
and
the
jackets.
virus British specific?
Hats and jackets. And yet there's no underpants.
There's
no shoes.
There's no. This is my favorite.
And vests. They've adopted vests for some reason.
None of them are like, "Hey, what are you doing there?" There's no Boston Planet of the Apes. I mean, maybe there is if you get to that part of the country.
They're all British.
Yeah, they're all like, "Hello." It's like Shakespeare. It was like the virus was just intent. They were like, "This is a very refined virus."
Oops, sorry. We're going to the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News brought to you by Bell Medical. The school year is wrapping up for local schools on his monthly showcase for Logan City School District on KVNU's For the People program this past Wednesday. Superintendent Frank Schofield brought along 2 standout students from Logan High School.
It's just awesome this time of year to see so much of the work that students have put into the year start to come to fruition and be visible in certain accomplishments. We get to see a lot of these all through the year, but the spring is when you get end-of-year recognitions and celebrations. And these are 2 of our students who are some of our most recent illustrations of those things.
The students accompanying Schofield have very unique accomplishments. High school junior Jasper Torrens is one of the very small number of students nationally who scored a perfect score on the ACT this year. He was asked how he accomplished this.
But the thing I definitely did do was, on the ACT website, they have a bunch of practice tests. And so I went through all the practice tests, and then they very clearly lay out, well, not very clearly. It's quite hard to get to the page where they tell you what questions you got wrong. I think I had to, I don't quite remember how I got there, but I think I might have had to retake the test just to
see the wrong
exactly
answers.
What the wrong answers were. But if you can do that and you can see what all the answers you got wrong were, then you can really start to fill in the holes that the ACT wants you to get.
Another student was Lillian Rowe. We'll hear her accomplishments on a later KVNU newscast. A 44-year-old man has admitted to assaulting a Providence woman who is trying to help him. Cesar Contreras Guerrero has been in the Cache County Jail since being arrested December 19th last year. According to court records, Contreras Guerrero participated Monday in Logan's 1st District Court. He accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to aggravated assault resulting in serious bodily injury, a second-degree felony, and kidnapping, amended to a third-degree felony. As part of the agreement, prosecutors dismissed 6 remaining charges. According to prosecutors, Cache County Sheriff's deputies received a call from a 65-year-old woman on November 18th. She explained how she had allowed Contreras Guerrero to stay at her apartment after learning he did not have a place to live. The woman said he was doing construction work nearby, and she intended to only have him stay 2 nights, but it turned into more than a month. On the night she called deputies, the woman said Contreras Guerrero had been consuming alcohol and smoking marijuana. He began accusing her of drinking some of his alcohol and became enraged. The woman said the suspect confronted her in her bedroom and began striking her, kicking her in the leg and punching her in the mouth. He then pushed her backwards onto her bed and began strangling her, causing her to lose consciousness several times. The deputies reported that the assault lasted around 5 minutes. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Personalized hearing improvement program is what they offer at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Possibility of seeing the northern lights later on tonight, early tomorrow morning. Mostly clear skies eventually tonight, low around 40, and then mostly sunny into the low 70s on Saturday. You can always get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
Wouldn't it be nice to lose a minimum of 2 to 5 inches of fat, just like that? At Bell Medical, with our uniquely patented FDA-cleared procedures, we are able to permanently remove that stubborn, hormonal fat that almost seems impossible to get rid of. And we are able to do it in a way that is so precise, we can guarantee a minimum of 2 to 5 inches of fat loss after 1 visit with us.
Schedule your free consultation at our Bountiful Clinic at bellmedical.com and let us make your dreams a reality.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. It could be another stormy night across parts of the country. A woman in Tallahassee, Florida, is dead after a tree fell on her home during the storms. A new State Department and Pentagon report is critical of how Israel's conducted the war with Hamas, but stops short of determining that in using U.S. weapons, Israel has violated U.S. or international law.
The president is going to be facing backlash from all sides for this report, from more progressive Democrats who say there's already overwhelming evidence that they have violated international and U.S. law with their conduct in Gaza. Then on the other side, there are Republicans who are already slamming the president for withholding any of that aid, saying it undermines America's commitment to Israel's security.
ABC's Selena Wang. Former President Trump's New York hush money trial resumes on Monday morning. Michael Cohen, the former fixer who wrote the checks to keep porn star Stormy Daniels quiet, is expected to testify next week. This is ABC News.
Here's what some of our patients have to say about how Red River has changed their lives.
So before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety. I had been to multiple doctors. We had done tests and no one could find anything that was wrong. And then a friend mentioned Red River and I went and saw him and it has changed my whole life. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. No more stomach pains. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to focus on imbalances that are driving your condition or symptoms, not just give you Band-Aid answers. So when a patient comes to our office, we'll sit down with them extensively and go over their blood work to find out the underlying imbalances driving their symptoms.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Adventure means exciting experiences without limits, like the exciting lease offers from Murdoch GMC Chevrolet Cadillac. So lease a new Murdoch GMC and live adventure without limits. Receive up to $8,000 off a GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family at Murdoch Chevrolet GMC Cadillac in Logan or online at murdochchevroletlogan.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Call 866-628-3065 or see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 6/3/24.
Keep chasing the wild, Utah. There's no better way to get out there than with the Polaris Expedition. With a long-range fuel tank, seating for up to 5, and Fox suspension, you and your crew will be riding from dawn until dusk. Polaris, think outside.
Here's Chad Norton, the lawn doctor, with a tip for your lawn.
The way you water your lawn makes a big difference. Water restrictions and water costs have both increased over the last few years. The Lawn Doctor offers a popular service to help keep your lawn green and healthy while watering less. One application of our HydroGuard service reduces your watering frequency by up to 1 day a week, saving you water and money.
Watering help, weed, fertilizer, and pest control. Call the Lawn Doctor at 753-LAWN or go to lawndoctor.com.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show with Andy Morgan here in the studio, talking about Apes.
Hey, look what I found. I had to go to like every store in Logan because people were hawking this Dr. Pepper creamy coconut zero sugar.
How is it?
On Facebook Marketplace.
I saw a lot of talk about that.
$15 for a case. You know what? If that's you buying that, shame on you.
I'm always a sucker for things like that. Also, the specialty flavored bag of chips. Last year, Lay's, I think, was doing the ketchup flavored Doritos.
But sometimes do you taste them and you're like, I feel like you guys repurposed something.
Yeah.
It's like when when
ketchup Doritos were just Doritos without the spice.
They were like, put barbecue sauce on it, but not the spice.
Yeah.
No,
the mustard ones were good, though.
Yeah, but it's like Wendy's. Wendy's, they'll be like, hey, try our new chili cheese ghost pepper fries. And you're like, you guys just took the ghost pepper sauce from the hamburger and squirted it on the fries.
And
somebody's like, wow, that's innovative. That's super innovative.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about this. And I also wonder sometimes if it's the marketers were like, get a report from the inventory people, and they're like, we got all this coconut.
No,
we don't know what to do with this. And they're like,
I'd like to know
let's try Dr. Pepper coconut.
I'd like to know across the country if this is sold more per capita throughout Utah. Because this is kind of where the original dirty, the soda company started, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's pretty tasty, but it is weird. When people come from out of state to visit here, they're always like, "Why are there so many soda places?" And I'm like, people just like what they like. Not a lot of coffee drinkers in Utah. That's why we have 2 Starbucks and 24 soda shops. It's like the reverse, Go to Los Angeles, and they've got 24 Starbucks on a corner and 2 soda shops. So anyway,
back to back.
Yeah. Hey, before we start talking about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I would like
the titles too.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I would like to say I did see a movie last week that I had never seen before. I missed it in 2023. I saw it. I remember I saw it pop up on Apple TV Plus. And the reason it interested me is it's, and I'm not going to be able to remember the director right off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. But same director that did Once, Begin Again, Sing Street, He really loves music movies. But there's one on
kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, you should try a different genre. I'm gonna do science fiction, but we're singing in it. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's called Flora and Son. And you know what? I mean, I got to be honest. Like, while it's this,
I remember.
Yeah,
the ads.
You've probably seen
one.
this.
Yeah,
it's got this man's muse, Jack Rayner, who's we were just talking about during the break. He's in this, but it's really good. It's a kind of a feel good movie, just like Sing Street, just like Begin Again. Like, it's kind of a nice chunk of reality, but it's got it's coated in sugar and makes you feel good.
That's
anyway. I wish I had seen it.
I remember the advertisements for that though. It looked good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it.
We have a very specific question from a listener. Listener said, disappointed to see that the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare has left Logan already.
Maybe they should have saw it sooner.
Is it worth it? Yeah.
Just kidding.
Personal responsibility, bootstraps, etc.
Don't blame the... Hey, man, that's why it left, because you didn't go soon enough.
Did you follow that gum thing the last couple days in Utah politics?
No. Wait, is this the selling some packs of gum?
Yeah, Republican candidate for Salt Lake County Council was asked about the state announcing yesterday it wouldn't be doing the summer food program for kids, which is, that's a whole debate. And then this Republican candidate said, I don't understand what the big deal is. When I was a kid, I sold packs of gum to buy school lunch. And everybody said, that's your proposal? and then she doubled down, and then she said people being critical of her were being misogynistic and mansplaining, and then it got worse from there.
When I saw she visited the John Johnson podcast, I went, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime anybody appears on John Johnson's Politicket, because I don't know if you've noticed, this is a state senator, by the way, who hosts this show. He's very particular about the guests he has on, and they're never ones that will challenge him.
Well, I saw she's scheduled for 2 more. She's on High Foreheads with Trevor Lee, and then I think the next one after that is Let's Talk Beards with Men Hatva. I think those are the next
What's
2.
under the beard?
What's under the beard? I can tell you.
So, listener wants to know, is it worth driving to Ogden for Ministry of Ungentlemanly
I mean,
Warfare?
I liked it. It was one.
Or should she just wait until it hits streaming?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you have something else to do, you want to go to the skydive thing next to the junction in Ogden. You want to have some Slackwater pizza.
So, like, if you're going down there anyway, or if you can combine interests, it's worth going to Ogden for, but not to see the film itself.
That's a hard question. Like, I told you, I thought it was great. I thought it was one of Guy Ritchie's better ones as of late, but
it'll be streaming on Amazon in a month.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go see it again in theaters.
Okay, that's a good answer.
You know what I mean? So I think you're fine to wait, and I think it'll be streaming relatively soon. In fact, you know what I would tell her?
Changes. We talked about box office and all that, and movies being back. Do you think that box offices are limited in general by that? The fact that sometimes you see a movie and it's one that, it's probably, I probably won't regret seeing it. It might actually end up being super great, but it's also most likely just going to be mediocre good. It'll be on Amazon or Netflix in a month.
I think people have grown more comfortable with just sitting at home and streaming. They don't have to, they're not dealing with crowds. They're not dealing with the crying kid. They're not dealing with people texting.
Yeah.
They can pause. They can look at their phone whenever they want. Here's what
There's another film like Furiosa coming in end of May.
Yeah, that feels like it's built for
you have to go see that in a theater.
Yeah,
IMAX if possible.
Here's what I would say. I'm actually equally annoyed with theater goers and studios alike. And I think Marvel and Disney I think Bob Iger swinging back into the Disney universe, the Disney, leadership, is going to kind of shift this. And I wouldn't be surprised if other studios follow suit. And in fact, I've already seen it happen. So go back to 2018, 2019, right before COVID, I think there was 900 movies released, right?
That's amazing.
That was rated and released into theaters. This past year, I think it was like 450, right? And way back when, like in the, let's say 1992, that area, You're talking like maybe 250 tops. But here's the point I'm trying to make. What I hear a lot of times from people is like, there's no original things. But then they don't go see The Fall Guy or the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. No, I'm not poking fun at our friend that just was asking us that question. But
no, but
people don't go see. They're focused on the franchise films.
Yeah. Or big ones like Furiosa that, like we said, demand a theater experience.
They're just annoyed. They're like, they don't have any original ideas, right? Yeah, and so that's one issue I have is like, don't use that as your thing, and then you don't go see anything.
Yeah,
because
it is fun to go to the theater.
It is. It's an awesome experience. It's communal. It'll always be communal.
Yeah.
The second thing I would throw out is I'm also annoyed with studios because it's really hard to pump something up as the blockbuster hit of the summer
when doing that.
Every weekend there's 2 or 3
blockbuster hits
of the summer that you're told, right? Yeah. And it's tiring. And I think Marvel saw this.
The year of Avengers Endgame was like that for me. I actually got fatigued. By the end of July, I was done with movies for a while. And I'd wanted to see everything I saw. I wasn't forced into anything.
I was the opposite. My fatigue came after 2019 when all these franchise films ended. Like when we had Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker.
Maybe that was
when we had Avengers Endgame. To your point,
so it was 2019 then, because it was the Endgame year.
Because what happened after that was then
wasn't there also a Thor movie in the mix?
That was later, but they cranked up the. They were like, hey, come watch the 16 Marvel shows we've got on streaming. Plus, here's all these movies that are like that we're just going to call the dumping ground. That we should have released during this, right?
Yeah. And some of those were really good. So you wanted to see those too.
Yeah, but like, have you seen Eternals again?
No.
Have you seen Black Widow again?
I have watched Black Widow twice.
Okay.
Eternals, man, I can't think of a bigger.
Did you see Thor: Love and Thunder more than once?
No.
The only one
I saw Ragnarok like 4 times.
But that's 2017.
Well, and also Movie Pass had just started. And I'm like, unlimited movies?
I saw...
And I've got a free 2 hours? I was just calling relatives left and right. I'm like, hey,
come on,
you want to see Thor?
No. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a bunch of times. But again, it's just... So my point is that, Marvel, the only movie Marvel's releasing this year is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And
which is sure to be a summer blockbuster.
Well, and people have there's announcements, right? But like it's died down. The chatter's died down. You have like the other day they announced there's a Black Panther 3 coming. I've heard things about like Young Avengers.
Yeah, which that would be fun. I kind of hope that is. Really
I've heard that the Blade movie that has been transferred to Ryan Coogler. They did like the Black Panther movies.
Yeah,
and it's going to Warner Brothers instead.
I still think with all the drama and tumult around that, just scrap it. Nobody wants that movie.
Yeah, I mean that was the one thing I will say from 2008 to 2019.
The universe is trying to tell you a thing.
That 11 years, they really had. They had a good plan. Whether you loved the movie or not, you know what I mean? Maybe you didn't love Thor 2. It all kind of fit, and it was all leading somewhere. And I think, again, I go back to this. The problem right now with both Star Wars and with Marvel is that nothing is leading anywhere. It's all just meandering.
Oh, have you seen the trailer, though, for The Acolyte on Disney+?
Yeah, I'm not excited.
Really?
No.
I feel like this is a potential new direction for Star Wars in which
I know it's set like early and like
well, and also this is not canon. This is loosely based on canon, but it's taking it in a whole new direction that George Lucas and other story writers never really explored. They just mention it, but what I like about this, and I think there's a trilogy in this. This is events that you're familiar with as a Star Wars fan from the bad guy's point of view. And I think that could be kind of a fun, I don't know, maybe not a trilogy, maybe like a Rogue One standalone, but there's potential. We got to go to this last break, and I just wanted to mention this quick. Speaking of things you have to see in the theater, May 17th at the IMAX Theater in
Centerville?
Farmington, Centerville? Where is that?
Yeah, Centerville.
I forget which city it's actually in. Off the freeway. You know what I'm talking about. May 17th, Blue Angels.
Oh, yeah.
The planes? The jets? Filmed exclusively for IMAX.
And being produced by Tom Cruise's heir apparent, Glenn Powell.
Really?
Who's going to be in Hitman and Twisters.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the new Bradley Cooper / Ryan Gosling.
The guy that's in everything for a while, and then
Bradley Cooper's officially old enough now that he's going to start playing like grandpas and bad guys. You notice Matthew McConaughey hasn't been in a lot of stuff lately.
I need him to stop reminding me of Jim Caviezel. That guy gives me the EBGBs.
I forgot about Jim
Bradley
Caviezel
Cooper looks like him
after
lately.
Passion of Jesus or whatever the show was.
Good time to forget about him. After that, it got weird. That's May 17th for those who want to see it. This is 2 hours of jets.
Wasn't he the guy
IMAX.
that was in Operation
Fake movie?
Elephant Drop? No, that's Bill Murray.
That's Bill Murray.
Wrong movie.
We'll be back.
Oh,
with
Dumbo
more.
Drop. That's what it
Dumbo
was.
Drop. Yeah, I was trying to remember too. That's a real movie.
Somebody's like, that's
And
not
that
funny, man.
Did actually
people
have
are getting
Bill Murray in
trafficked,
it.
you jerk.
We'll be back with more For the People movie show right after this.
I'm Jason Walton, the only Republican political outsider running for the United States Senate. Are you tired of paying more but getting less? Food, gas, interest rates, they've all gone up. Sending more career politicians to Washington is not the solution. They're the problem. They're addicted to spending money we don't have on things we don't need. They're causing inflation as the federal debt goes up and the value of our money goes down. My opponents are big spending career politicians. Trent Staggs, 11 years politicking. Brad Wilson, 14 years. And John Curtis, as a Democrat, began 24 years ago. I'll stop runaway inflation by forcing politicians to spend only what we give them by passing a balanced budget amendment within 2 terms, or I won't run for re-election. If the other candidates won't make you that promise, then they care more about their careers than about our country. I'm Jason Walton, a candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Friends of Jason Walton for Senate.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
This Mother's Day, surprise mom with flowers and a piece of jewelry from S.E. Needham Jewelers. Choose from a large selection of birthstone, silver, and diamond jewelry. Or you may find something special for her in our family jewelry collections, or an S.E. Needham gift card may be timely. With the purchase of $99 or more, you'll receive a spring bouquet of flowers. Come shop today, open 10 to 7. For the people and occasions that matter most, S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. That was supposed to be a musical interlude.
Hey,
welcome back.
Yeah,
Apes.
welcome back. Yeah, let me give you. There's a reason we've diverged here. What I want to say about Apes is it's an unknown cast. I mean, if you went and looked at the cast list, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I think I know that guy from some British show I watched."
I know William H.
Is that
Macy.
the villain? Yeah, he's in it for like 47 seconds.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say is it's like all of these movies, and starting with the one that had Helms Franco in it, and
I forgot about that.
Whatever, Malfoy is weirdly the villain. Starting with that one, I thought
because that works.
Yeah, I thought poor guy. Him and the guy that plays Joffrey have a little club called "We Don't Get Jobs No More." Anyhow, we're typecast. Nobody likes us in real life, even just because who we played. Joffrey and Malfoy show. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop. No,
you don't bounce back from Joffrey.
Here's what I'd say is, this is how I would grade the movie. All the adults sat in their seats and pretty much enjoyed it, but like almost every kid got up at some point and was like, well, I've got to use the bathroom
for 17 minutes.
It was just it's very I mean, there is some, action. It's not a boring movie at all. I can't not give it a good grade. I would for sure probably give it like a B+. It's beautiful to look at.
This is literally like every other one. They're not bad.
The acting is really great.
You're not angry you saw it.
Yeah, I would say the Oscars need to do two things to make the world right. There needs to be motion captured acting should be considered. That's one. And two, they really do need to make a stunt award because this is, it gets kind of silly that they don't have that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you want to go see it and you like the other ones, you'll like it just fine. It's not, it's no better, no worse. It's a little bit. It picks up, after our pal Caesar has passed away, and like most things, now his kingdom has turned into basically the Trump years, essentially. Like it's just anyway,
and that's sort of.
But it does add a little bit more of a human conflict into it. I'm assuming I would assume there'd be more movies. I think it depends on how it does at the box office. Again, people are interesting these days, so
yeah.
I don't know. I think next week will be interesting to a nice bellwether because next week is that movie If that's directed by John Krasinski. That's got huge cast, Steve Carell, and Ryan Reynolds.
It
that
does
whole
have
crew.
The Patrick Hockstetter from It.
Yeah,
one of the creepiest parts of that movie.
And The Strangers, Chapter 1, because you needed more of that.
Why is it Chapter 1?
Because we actually watched Chapter 2.
Movie.
Don't know if you saw Chapter 2. They've just been messing them up. All the chapters, they're
Just
backwards.
Like George did with The New Hope. Episode 4, what?
Wait, what was 1, 2, and 3? Oh, why do we ask?
Oh, sorry we asked. That's our show. Be back with us next Friday at 5.